told me, man, it's three kind of people in the world. He like, it's people that sit back and watch everybody else do everything, ball out, have fun, not have fun, all of that.
Everybody that's not in the fucking roofing industry, you're not in it, fucking up.
They gonna find out now.
We knew that we were a group of misfit guys, right? That worked well together. But we could get more fucking misfit guys. We could crush the fucking world together.
Yeah.
There's Chiefs, right? And then the Indians, right? And sometimes it's okay to not be a chief. I think that's where people get shit misconstrued. Brother, waking up with the stress and the pressure that I do with every single day,
Not for everybody.
it's not for everybody. We've all taken L's. We've all lost time with our families. We've all got paid. We've all got not paid to do shit that we're doing, right?
Right.
Bro, I'll put this out here right now. I didn't make money for 18 fucking months. We end up finishing that first year over 2.1 million. You know, you won't ever be in life. You won't ever be successful until you make somebody else successful.
Welcome back to the Rob and Savage podcast. Got a special guest here, man. My guy Junior. What's up, man? Right, made it happen.
Long time coming.
Long time coming.
Couple reschedulings. You know, a
Couple
couple rate
rescheduling.
checks.
Hey, right.
Yeah.
Bring the
Yeah, we made it happen.
Made it happen, man. We're gonna dive in, bro. It's a word I want to start our interview off with, man. Called perseverance. And you're heavy on that, especially where you come from. And I think that your story alone is gonna inspire a lot of people. So let's dive into that. So tell us about yourself.
Man, I just turned 29.
Okay.
Right. Just turned 29 in February. Shout out my Aquarius gang.
Okay, shout out.
But yeah, 29. My biggest pride obviously is I'm a single father, right? So first and foremost, a father to two beautiful kids, right? So Adelina Karis and Oswaldo Jeremiah.
Okay.
They're 9. They're in 4th grade. And then on top of that, I would start considering myself a serial entrepreneur, right? Risen from the ground up. Obviously, come from a rough background from South Central LA, right? Grew up out there. Moved out to Arizona and started my life. We'll get into that, but yeah, my biggest thing is my kids, my family, and then of course my businesses. So my biggest one being obviously my roofing company. We just went through a major acquisition.
Merger.
Yep. Southern Roofing Renovations, great company. Once again, we'll dive into that story. But like I said, just a kid from LA, who had a dream and made it happen with no excuses. A lot of trials and tribulations along the way.
Right.
But yeah, we started off with.
Well, man, one thing I will say, we got the music thing with Arizona. That's kind of what my eyes woke up. I was in Scottsdale and community college. So I remember you told me you was in Arizona. I thought, oh man, you know a little bit about Phoenix a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, so okay, so go dive in, man. So you South LA. How was that for you, man?
Shit. I mean, the movies depict it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's nothing different, but you see it from outside looking in, and you say, "Oh, that's bad living." It wasn't like that for me.
Okay.
Right? I'm not gonna sit here and say I loved it.
I got you.
Right? I had a great family around me. Right? Both of my parents around up until my father got incarcerated. So that's tough, but once again, strong family unit. Right? Just happened to be in the hood. Right?
Okay.
Both my parents, immigrant parents. Right, so not a lot of opportunity or good foundation to lead a family into success. They didn't let that shit stop them. Right, so they made the decision. Right, after seeing some of my cousins and repercussions that come with staying in the hood, they made the decision to move out to Arizona, and that was just like you said, that clicking moment.
Right,
clicking moment. That oh shit, it's like. What have I been missing, right? There's people that open doors for you and say thank you. You know what I'm saying? There's people that don't ask you why you're wearing a certain color. Right. So just shit like that, man, where you go back and just everything, the way I talk, right? You wouldn't even think the way that I used to talk versus, the verbiage I use now, right? Just,
Right.
growth, right?
Gotcha.
Growth and knowledge. But um, I went into Arizona and it just gave me a whole different mentality, bro. Like from going out there, we moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So 1-bedroom apartment, both my parents at the time. Um, my dad, obviously fresh out, just a new beginning
Right.
for everybody.
Right.
So
Which part using Mesa, using
yeah. So we moved in actually to Avondale. Avondale. Yep. Avondale. Coldwater Apartments.
Okay.
Yep. So we were in Coldwater, and that's kind of where Junior was made. Honestly, that right there was the relationship. Me and my brother got real tight. There was a big fucking mix up with Mexicans and blacks. Obviously, coming from LA, it just wasn't a thing, right?
Right.
Mexicans and blacks don't get along like that.
Right,
It just
right.
wasn't a thing. So we kind of took that mentality. Like we took this mentality and it was broken out there. You know what I'm saying? Like we started having, homies of every race. And it was more of our uncles telling us who to hang out with. Back in LA, you know what I'm saying? Or telling us that, hey, y'all need to stay here. You need to stay on this block. But I look back at it and it was just grooming you to be that. Right?
Need more and more history on that.
Yeah, so you get that, and like I said, why Avondale made me was we were around different demographics and we made it work. You know what I'm saying? We all realized we're just all, broke kids,
Right, right.
with parents that worked hard as shit,
Right.
but could provide, the most they could for us. So, yeah, bro, went out there, got in a lot of fights. Got in, good man. I mean, throwing down and my brother's watching this. 95% of that shit was you, right?
Okay.
So he would square me up. He would square me up with,
Right.
with homies his age that had the same, whether it was a brother that was a year older,
Right,
a year younger, a couple years older.
Right.
But it made me, it made us who we were, bro. So
I can really, attend to that, man, because by the time I did 2-bedroom apartment, 7 guys, 2-bedroom from the South.
yeah,
It was out there from McDowell Road and Wood Road,
yeah,
right outside of Scottsdale. But the apartment we was in wasn't expensive, but it was still in Scottsdale. So that was just a different world. And like you said, going back to the fight, us being from the South, we're fighting even the black kids out there because we think there's something different.
yeah.
Our pants saggy, they went 10 teams in. Just
Yeah.
like 2007.
Yep.
It's a different vibe. Okay, man. So you basically, you're growing up in Arizona, man. So what made you leave into the military?
So I get to Arizona, and I actually the 2008 recession hits.
Right.
So 2008, that'd be my brother as a senior. So I was eighth grade, ninth grade. Yeah. So eighth, ninth grade. My dad's in the construction business at this point, right?
Okay.
So he starts as a handyman and moves up all the way to gets his GC, and he's doing well at this point, right?
Okay.
Like we're moving around and we went from Avondale now at this point. So just to give the audience a little bit of a timeline, at this point we have moved out to about a 3 to 4 year span in between the apartments where we kind of level up. It goes,
Okay.
we were just at Coldwater for probably a year and a half. And then we moved into this house, fucking roaches everywhere all the goddamn time. I don't know what the fuck it was. I remember my dad fogging that fucking house like 5 times. It just still roaches fucking come out. But after that, then we got our first like nice house. Right?
Okay.
And then the fourth one ended up in Goodyear. So in Goodyear,
Yeah.
right, we were in Goodyear, right by Millennium High School.
Right.
We lived on the golf course.
Okay.
Right, like my dad was grinding at this point. I'm seeing my dad grind in front of my eyes. From the street life and having everything that we ever wanted to losing it all. Everything.
Right.
I'm talking everything. And then he goes on with nothing and moves us to a whole different state and starts something from the ground up. So that inspiration, I always say my dad's my number one hero. Right?
Perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so we end up in Goodyear, and at this point we're moving to Buckeye now. So the recession, the house market crashes,
It did.
and we end up having to get rid of the house. right? My parents don't want to go under on the house.
Mhm.
And at this point, they're starting to develop in an area called Buckeye, right?
Okay,
Buckeye,
yeah.
Arizona,
Yeah.
right? Over there towards Verrado,
Yeah.
right? So they start developing out there. We get a nice house out there. It's nice. And I end up transferring. I finished my freshman year out. So my parents they're driving me back and forth, let me finish my freshman year off at Millennium. And I'm fucking up out there. Like, I'm fucking up bad.
Yeah.
I'm not showing up to class. I failed every class my freshman year. Every class. D's and F's. D's and F's. Everything. No C, no B. Everything. As soon as ball finished, it was done. Like everything.
What would you say? What was the main reason why that was happening?
The transition from the street shit, and we were in a nicer area now, and I had that chip on my shoulder. I was too cool for school, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew I was from LA, and I bragged about it. You know what I'm saying? And I was that typical stereotype.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me shit. And at this point, I'm kind of beefing it back and forth with my parents.
I got it.
As well. So it's like my wild phase. You know, my freshman year is kind of my wild phase. And
Paul, though.
yeah. So then I get into, I make that transfer into my sophomore year. And that's kind of what leads into my military thing, to answer your question, is now I'm walking it in because it's such a vital part of the story. When I make that transfer, I meet my significant other.
Okay.
Right. First week I'm in there, right? Miss Jones class. So we lock in, and you know, I take her out that same day, and we just clicked, right? And it's on and off all the way up until our senior year. And by our senior year, we're locked in.
You know, we know.
Yeah, I mean, you know. So we go in, and at this point, it's my senior year. Had stellar ass football season, right? So I'm getting some D3 stuff, some JUCO stuff, but the offers are rolling in for my wrestling shit.
I got it.
Right. And at this point, I'm making the decision, like, all right, I'm gonna wrestle in college, do that. Story short, I end up tearing my shoulder, and my backup plan already after wrestling was I wanted to go up in there. I wanted to try to be a national champion. Right. That's what I wanted to do, and try to make the Olympic trials.
Right.
If that was the case, because I'd already broken so many records in Arizona at the tier of wrestling that I was doing in a short period of time. Right. So people and scouts and everything were projecting high things for me.
Right.
So when that dream got taken apart, I was like, okay, this is the military thing. So I go, and my buddy,
second thing.
yeah. My buddy had his dad was a recruiter, and that kind of opened up the door. And I had a buddy named Preston, my buddy Jarvis, and then Ray West. Rest in peace to Ray. But we all kind of got together. Oh, and Kendall, my buddy Kendall Ingram. He ended up being a linguist. He beat us all out of it. He took something called the D-Lab, took the D-Lab test. He ended up getting $100,000 bonus. So then we all come in like, hey, we're like, we want to take that test. They're like, nah, y'all ain't qualified. Y'all can't take that test.
Right.
So he ended up being a cryptolinguist. Anyways, story short, bro, I end up deciding that I'm going to the Army. That I'm doing this, and this is gonna be the kickstart to my life. Right? I'm not an athlete no more. I'm kind of turning that switch off and committing. And I'm so in love, head over heels, that it's like I'm ready to start my family, right? And after college, I just wanted to have a degree to come back and commission. So the military was always a thing, no matter what.
Right.
You know, whether it was a backup plan then or you know, 3 or 4 years from now, it was always the backup.
I got it.
So I ended up joining the Army. I go to Fort Leonard Wood. Ship out to basic. But before I ship out to basic, my recruiter tells me, he goes, you're going to get married when you get out of basic?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He goes, then why don't you just do it right now?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what he was trying to put me on game, letting me know, but I get married now. I get my housing, I get my BAH, I get my housing allowance, I get my separation pay.
Right.
I'm like, bet, like,
Right.
absolutely, let's do it. So, yeah, bro, I ended up joining the military and ship out to Fort Leonard Wood, you know, go to basic, do my AIT. And my first orders after that is Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Man.
And that's how Junior ends up from LA to Arizona and ends up in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Talk about a culture shock, right?
That's a big one.
Right? Huge, right? So you come in, it's like, fuck, now you got this guy. And at this point, I'm pretty disciplined, but I'm hot-headed. My attitude is my demise at this point, right? So I had a great mentor, my wrestling coach, Derek Simmons, who had me pretty just level head, bro. I knew how to control my temper, and I had different outlets to be able to do so, but that attitude was still carrying into my military ship, right? All the way up until probably the end of basic, right? I was like, all right, bro, I'm not gonna make it anywhere acting the way that I'm acting.
Right.
So yeah, it took those years, man, and the Army was definitely the highlight and that foundation of giving me the opportunity that I have now. You know what I'm saying? And correcting those behaviors. Because, in the Army, bro, you have every single demographic. You got Asians, you got blacks, you got Samoans, you got everything. Everything. You got to make it fucking work. Right? Because you're going to go to battle with those people. Right? At the end of the day, we're at Fort Campbell, and then I'm at 3rd Brigade, right? You're with the Rockets on the most deployed units. Right. You're like, I got to make this shit work, bro. Because I got to make sure some shit happens, bro. Yeah. This big ass motherfucker's he's gonna take it back home. Right. So yeah, that's how I end up at Fort Campbell, bro.
That's crazy when you said it, because like that's being from Nashville. That's always I speak for myself and my group of friends. If football wasn't gonna work, my dad was in the Navy, so I always had the military bug was right there. Like, well, it's on now, but I just kept on fighting it. You know what I mean? But as long as I could. But yeah, I always thought about the Army too, because right before Camp is right there. Mine was the Navy. So you battling that and having that as a backup is exactly how I was thinking.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, bro, now that I look back at it, and I just had this conversation while I was back home with the incident that happened with my little brother. And we were talking about, the past, like the military life and what it did for me, right? And the importance of it. But before, like, I didn't have my parents didn't understand why I wanted to join the military. That's what I'm getting at. And I was telling my mom, I said, the reason that I did that was I was running away from everything. The road that I had gotten to. My number one fear I hadn't realized, bro, that it wasn't that I just love football or that I just love wrestling. Or it was me forcing and going back because I was scared to go back where I came from.
Okay.
Right. That was my main thing was, and just like today, my biggest thing is I know what it's like to be hungry, bro. Like I've been hungry. So when people are like, man, I've struggled, like, dog, I've been hungry, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm like? I know what it's like to not be able to fucking eat.
Right.
And my older brother's trying to make fucking something happen while my mom's at work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my biggest thing for the military, no, never. So my biggest thing with the military and joining, like, come on, bro, I come from Tulu with your parents, right? At this point, people, they're talking border control and everything. My parents are like, they're looking at the Army like it's Satan.
Right.
Because they don't have that comprehension. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're against your people. But they didn't realize, like, I wouldn't be here and even have this opportunity. And I've always looked at it this way, bro, that if I didn't serve the country, that it was a disservice. It was a disservice. That was my biggest thing. And then I thought it was my escape route. If I do this, that means that I'm on the right route. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be back in the streets. I'm not going to be ended up where all my previous fucking people were at, locked up or dead.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, just some insight on that, on the decision of what made me even consider the military, bro. And it took me years to realize that it was just me running away.
Well, it was you running away from the fact you never want to go to that level.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't just with money wise, being broken as person. Knowing your stomach is hurting, you're hungry. Your older brother trying to make some work, like your friend was out working. Nobody wants to do that. So I get that.
Who did I become? I became a more selfless person. That's why I picked up on the wrestling shit. Somebody was such an individual sport. I was such a selfish person. I didn't give a fuck about anybody or anything but myself. Like, legit. That like, I look back, and this carried on till 22, 23, in personal, but it was never in uniform. Like, those were my brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I built that. So the person that I became was almost like a machine. You know what I'm saying? A machine that was so used to a routine that it was just like family and work, family and work. There's really no in between. So I became so disciplined, motivated during that time. To go to Ranger school, go to jump school, go so on and so forth. That it's almost like you start at the bottom. You're able to do so much in the military. That's why I tell everybody, bro, if you're confused, go to the fucking army. And I'm gonna say that to everybody watching this right now.
Yes.
Everybody. I tell this to every single person. I say, you go to a job and you work for a job for 2 or 3 years. What do you leave? What do you leave? Right? If you do that and you commit that time to the military, you're leaving with medical benefits. You're leaving with your post 9/11 GI Bill. They'll pay you BAH while you're going to fucking school, right? Which is your basic housing allowance, right? You'll get a food stipend.
Right.
And yeah, you do all that, and then trade. You go to a trade school, they pay for that, and it's for 3 years of your life. Bro, I see people partying on fucking Broadway 3 years of their life, bro. I come back 3 years later, they're doing the same shit.
Right.
I'm like, you could have went to go do something with your life. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So, that's to answer your question, a better version of myself, but just still with the same selfish needs, right? But when it came down to the mission and the job in itself, it's all I live, eat, and breathe. It was like an addiction, almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So you in the military, you're doing your thing. I had to ask you this, man. How did the roofing situation even come into your mindset, knowing that? Well, first off, how long did you know you were gonna be in the military?
Okay. So I thought I was gonna be a lifer, right?
Okay,
I was like, at this point, you go in and it just becomes a black hole, bro. You know what I'm saying? It does, and all my military people will agree with it that next thing you know, you're re-enlisting indefinitely. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you're from 10 years, you just committed another 10 years, and then it's over. Next thing you know, you're 38, 39, ready to retire, which is a great life for some, but a terrible life for the people that close their eyes and they're 15 years in the fucking military.
Right.
Their knees are hurt, they're broken. You know what I'm saying? Ask anybody that's done 10, 15 plus years how their body feels. You know what I'm saying? It's rugged. It's a lot of stress on the body. Obviously, you don't get compensated enough for it.
Right.
Right. So, it just, I don't know how to. So yeah. So I go and after seeing people being fucking broken and everything, I realized that it wasn't, bro. Like, there's a certain amount of command that I can take until I realize that I'm better, right? I'm better than you. What you're trying to tell me, I'm better than you at it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You might have the rank, but I'm fucking better than you. And then you have those other guys, you're like, how in the fuck did you even get that rank?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You start talking, you start seeing an E6, E7, you start seeing a first sergeant, bro, that's fat. You're like, you want me, and you're talking about PT, bro.
Right.
And you're not. I just couldn't. I couldn't comprehend it, bro.
They just good at testing and shit to get they rank.
It's different things, bro. It's whether it's a connection or you go to a promotion board, right? So you have, when you make E5, you go to your promotion board, E6 or whatever, and then after that, it's like a selection process. You go to a file, you have certain schools, you have to go to ALC, Advanced Leadership course, so on and so forth, to keep moving up. But yes, by the end, it becomes almost a selection process of what you've done. But there's people that could fake a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They get by at the lowest fucking standard. And I've always told people that's a kind of society in itself, right? When people say, well, how'd that guy get to that position? He just stayed fucking consistent, bro. Probably fucked up a lot, but they just tolerated him, and then he ended up in that position. So anyways, I realized that I don't want to do that, right? So after the first contract, obviously we're out skis, right? I started going through the ACAP process, and at this point, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I am confused, right? But I know that I have my BAH, right, for my post 9/11 bill. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to college. I'll have that, right? So at that point, I was like, with my disability and everything, it was gonna be like 4,800, five G's a month.
Okay.
Like I'm straight.
Yeah.
And then I meet a guy named John Reed, and he's going through the ACAP process. He's basically he's the HR director for T-Gas, right? They're out of Hopkinsville. And I just catch his eye. Like, I'm just dressed, and I would say, come over here. We start talking, and we just hit it off, right? And he goes, I got a production supervisor position. What you think? I'm like, I give him my resume, which at this point I was just getting taught, how to do it, right? You go through that whole process. It's a 3-week process. So I gave him my fresh resume that I probably printed 10 minutes before that.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck are the chances of that, bro? I was like, let's do this, right? So I give him the resume, and he's like, all right. He hits me up the next week. I go in for an interview. I crush the interview. At least I think I crushed the interview, and they called me in for a second one. And at this point, they're saying that there's like 20-some candidates or whatever that they're looking at for this position.
Okay.
And then they call me back the third week, and they're like, oh, you're the final candidate, but we got somebody with more experience, but we have this team lead position, and it was an hourly position, right? And I'm like, absolutely not. I was like, I was going on salary. That was in my mind. I wanted a certain number.
Right.
And I was like, I'm just not doing that. So calls me like 2 weeks later, bro. I won't ever forget it. This is the best call ever, because literally none of this story happens without none of the roofing shit, none of that. So I get it, and I'm working on a 2014 Mustang GT. So I'm putting a Borlake sauce on it. So I'm underneath the car, and I get the phone call. I'm like, what's up? Hey man, just seeing what you're thinking. I said, John, with all due respect, I told you I'm not working fucking hourly, and I'm not no fucking team leader, whatever that position even means.
Right.
It's not what I interviewed for.
Right.
He goes, I'm just kidding. He goes, unfortunate sequence of events. The guy was a little bit older, and his wife's having some health complications, and we just don't see him as a good fit. We think would you like to take the opportunity? I'm like, fucking get up. I hit my head on the fucking car, bro. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, fuck. I hit my shit.
Yeah.
I hang up, and I go inside, and I tell, baby mama, I'm like, I got the fucking job. I'm like, we're hype. And so once again, I go in there with a good foot, bro. I'm in there, and I'm pressing, and about 8 months into it, those paychecks start really coming in, and then my disability starts coming in and stuff. So like, I'm banking, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, compared to what I was making, bro, I was making every 2 weeks when I was in the Army, I was making, I think, $1,500 a month, like $1,480 or something like that. About to be like exact.
So like, you ain't got to spend that because everything's on base.
Yeah, everything. Well, we were off post and stuff, but think about it, bro. So I forgot to mention this. I have the kids at 18.
Okay.
So I missed the completely thing. So I go to Fort Campbell during basic. My girl comes down, and obviously we do the dirty, right? And we end up conceiving that night.
Okay.
So by the time we get to Campbell and everything, like, she's pregnant, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, like, I got a family, right? So it was towards the end of the Army thing was tougher, bro. The kids were growing. Like, it was paycheck to fucking paycheck, right? So this opportunity, like, I was putting money away, 2-3 G's at a time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, I'm like, I've never really had this. So I start going that route, and then I end up meeting Shai, right?
Okay.
So this goes to that story. So I told you I was into cars, and I end up going to a race event out in Memphis. All the car out there, right? And we do a no prep. I meet this guy, and his name is Josh, and he takes me back, and he goes, "Hey, come out to Nashville, dog. I promise you, I was so locked in, and such a father, and just a dad, and just a Army dude that." I came to Nashville, bro, for candy apples, bro. That candy apple store, like, we would go to Nashville, and it would consist of going to Opry Mills for a better mall, and then candy apples out of it. Like, that's what Nashville was to me at this point, right?
You really like that out of the Army part.
Yeah, yes. And this is me at 22, 23 simple. Exactly. And great. Amazing. I have no complaints about it. Some of the happiest years of my life, honestly. But yeah, bro, so I go ahead and I come back, and he takes me to a little after party. He goes, we're pre-gaming, we're going to go out, and we're going to go to a place called Valentine. I was like, I don't know where Valentine's at.
Yeah.
So I end up walking up, and I walk up, and I see fucking, first of all, I walk into this house, and it's 1005 South Street. So look that up after this as a reference. Like, I got a picture memory. So my buddy Jeff Matthews' house, right? And he's a dentist. He's crushing it at the time. He's got the Bentley. He's got the G-Wagon. You know what I'm saying? So I walk in. I go to the garage. I'm like, My boy showed me his place. He's got an elevator in it.
Mhm.
And that day right there, that day really, it changed my life, bro. That first day when I walked in for the first time in my life, like I told you, I was making some bread. Everything was going good. But then I walked into there and I felt so little. I felt so little.
Man, it's crazy, brother. South Street's on right there. Like you can still see downtown and everything. It's I know big dinosaur skeleton over there. Some of the houses there.
Yeah,
But I know some real estate guys who build some homes and they got the elevator and stuff and then they come Boston.
yeah.
But that happened to me too. I'm like, man, I'm thinking I'm doing it. I'm going to that house. First of all, the elevator in the house. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Ever.
In the crib?
In the crib?
Like, yeah, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, bro. So I go up and it's an elevator and I go up and the three people up there are Jeff, which like I said, he's a dentist. You got Shai, who's, fucking tattooed out, looks like a little rock star.
Right.
Who the fuck's this guy?
Right.
And then you got Curtis. And Curtis at the time is I mean, he's crushing it. He's in the insurance game, the farm game, and I mean, he's like crushing it, like multi-millionaire. So he's in the Tom Ford suit. I won't forget it, Curtis, you're watching this. Tom Ford suit, and we'd always, that's the joke till today, Mr. Tom Ford. So once again, we get there, we go out, bro, and it's a movie, bro.
Yeah.
We hit it off.
Yeah.
And me and Shai have the strongest connection.
Right.
Like right off the point, like we're kind of, everybody's bouncing back and forth, but me and him are just, dog, we're having a ball, bro.
Right.
And yeah, dude, so that's kind of how that story, takes off. I get into the Nashville nightlife.
Yeah.
That night, that's kind of where Junior gets his toes wet, and the story begins.
So man, you get into that's a hell of a place to Valentine's back then.
Yep.
So you get into the Nashville nightlife. You got Shai right there. He's already superstar himself.
Yep.
That aura alone
Mm-hmm.
gonna bring people towards you.
Yep.
How did you navigate through that, man, to start networking?
So that goes back to, it leads into your question was, how do I get into the roofing shit?
Right.
So I meet Shai. The roofing shit ain't started.
Right.
There's nothing started yet. Shai is right now just an aspiring, musician. He's doing some house flip stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a photo booth, right? Like a little mobile photo booth.
Right.
He got kicked off of Broadway, by the way, off that because he didn't have no permit. He was doing shit illegal.
Well, he should have been in contact with King because she got one herself.
Right. Yeah. So he's doing that, just starting shit up, just hustling. Right. And none of us are kidding. At that time, I met Shai. He was driving Shonda the Honda. Shout out Shonda, the fucking Honda, bro. It was a 2002, 2003 Honda Accord.
Okay.
And when I tell you Shonda the Honda, I've driven Shonda the Honda at rough times. Everybody had a rough time has driven. In our friend group, has driven Shonda the Honda, but that was his pride. That's how I met Shai. I mean, head sagging, fucking headliner, you'd be driving like that, you know what I'm saying? So we go out and we're networking, but at this point, I'm not networking, bro. I'm not, dog. That is not even in my mind right now. I'm so starstruck. I'm a married man, right? And I just got pulled into this party life that I've never seen. So I'm living two lives.
Right. Okay.
I'm living two fucking lives, bro. And this is, part of the biggest growth is acknowledging that, right? But I was living two fucking lives. I want to have a good home life, a good party life, and that just doesn't happen.
Right.
There could be a balance, but there can't be a back and forth in between it. You know what I'm saying? And me, I have an addictive personality. Right. So when I'm doing something, like I'm gonna be the best one fucking doing it. Whether it's fucking drinking, right? Or outworking you in an office or outworking you on the roof, right? So yeah. So at this point, bro, I'm not networking. I'm going out and I'm meeting people. I'm meeting successful people, right? And not up until probably really a year after into the partying stuff, I start really having issues with my significant other. And we take like a little separation thing, and I've really started dipping into the party. Right? So I'm partying at this point. I'm not focusing at work, and they're kind of showing it, or they're seeing it, and I end up putting my 2-week, resignation letter. And because once again, bro, I'm not a faulty person. I knew that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I see the same people doing the same shit at my promotion level. I seen my cap, and I seen my cap there in the next 5 years, and I was gonna be in that office fucking ever, rotting away, rotting away, bro. And that didn't sit well with me, especially once again, we go back and forth with is the partying good or bad? It was good in this situation because it made me quit this because I seen the highlight of what people were doing, what they were making, what they were driving, right? In that party lifestyle, I seen every single trajectory of what that party scene consisted of, right? The good and the bad.
Right.
So at this point, I do my 2 week resignation, and I got no plan, bro. Got no plan.
Man, see, but that's honorable for you, man. Like, you know what? I ain't gonna bring this coming down. Also, let me go and put this 2 weeks in, but I see the ceiling. This ain't for me. I got the same epiphany, bro. Like being around, and Ken has been with me too in a lot of these situations. Being in these certain rooms with, bro. I done been at a dinner with Steve Jobs, doctor. Just shooting shit with him and his wife. And then I'm like, this guy's afraid of Apple. Like, you the doc, you worked on this body, man. And I'm like, I can't go back to how I'm living. You know what I'm saying? So it just motivated me more and more. So I feel that big time.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. I think it's a real pivotal and this kind of a part that I miss. So when my dad was building his construction company, he had a guy, and I call him my dad's shop.
Okay.
And it's so weird, bro, how history kind of repeats itself, or how your depiction of your father, or so on and so forth, of the relationships that you're able to create. But he had Mr. Tim. And Mr. Tim, right, who is now, he's my youngest brother's, he's my young brother's godfather.
Right.
But he's went through 3 acquisitions. He's in the insurance game. He sold to Cigna, right? I don't know if it was Aflac. He's got acquired 3 times, right? Every single time he went, chills out on a non-compete, resells the company, again, and does that. But that was my first vision of seeing a guy with money. Right. And I always used, till this day, and it's so crazy because before the season ended, we went out to Vegas, and the Raiders played the Vikings. He invited me out. This was a short time after the acquisition.
Right.
I kind of, the merger stuff was happening, and I'm able to sit down with the guy I used to see when I was 11, 12 years old, right, selling these companies and driving these cars. And I looked at him, and I was able to tell him, like, good, the reason that I did that. Yeah. That right there, he by far was probably my biggest inspiration of what the world could really be at a young age.
Right.
Because I would see it in the summers. He would go to Salt Lake City, Utah, and we would stay at a house during the summer. So weeks at a time, my dad, we would live in the house. My mom would cook in their kitchen. I mean, they had fucking cross beams from England that were worth $30,000, $40,000. They had, shit from all rugs that were $25,000, $30,000. You know what I'm saying? Like real money. Very humble, right? You would never go in and be like, that's a $30,000 rug. It just wasn't. But he knew. He knew. But yeah, to get at that, bro, he was that first individual. So going back to, the Shai thing, I go and I say, you know what, I'm out this bitch. Like I'm leaving the job. And at this time, Shai's starting up Southern.
Okay.
Right. He's in it. It's kind of kicking off. Memphis is doing, that's the mother hub. So that's where Southern comes into play. And he starts talking to me about, the second location coming. It's coming to Nashville.
Right.
He's like, bro, your fucking mouth. You just got it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, well, you'll start off, you'll start, knocking doors, we'll grow the market, and eventually we'll go into partnership. You'll get a piece of it, we'll grow it. And I was like, no, not happening. Right. And at the time, once again, that's that selfish shit. That's that I'm too good for it. Right. An opportunity getting handed to me when I got no fucking job. No job, no nothing, but what talk about fucking entitlement? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, and it's by like a dude that's got a good operation going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I deny the offer, and I really started getting into the divorce. Right. So now at this point, it went from separation, now the divorce talks, you're going in, and I'm like, oh shit, this is what it is.
It's happening. Yeah.
So I go, I end up crashing one of my whips, right?
Wow.
Right, I end up crashing one of my whips, and at this point, I'm not chilling with the right people now. Now I'm shifting away from the Shais, and then I'm shifting into the street shit, the shit that I know,
Right. Right.
right? And that's where that shift really fucks me up, right? I start really pushing away, and I start hanging out and doing the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? I know ways to make bread. There's no secret to dudes from the streets, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
I find that more desirable than being a business guy. You know what I'm saying? And it just took one of my boys going to jail, and that's kind of the turning point. Was my buddy Curtis gets locked up, right? When I told you I had it all.
Right.
He ends up getting locked up, and he goes, "Hey, bro, I don't want you to end up where I'm gonna end up." Right? That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
And I don't know, something about that conversation, bro, where it was just like, shit, you're right. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm not being the father that I should, right? I'm not doing the right shit. I'm fucked up, bro. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing right now? What am I doing with my life? So I had that talk. With myself, bro, that just I'm fucking up. But still saying that, but still doing stupid shit.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We go through.
Yeah.
We see it.
Yeah,
Like,
we
right,
see it. Yeah.
Getting drawn into it. Yeah.
Yep. So we end up going in, and I go to Shai, and I'm like, yo, dog, like I don't know what to do. Right? Like, I'm tired of doing this shit. Like, I want something legitimate. I want something fucking legit, something that I can stand for, something I can tell my kids that I built, and like the opportunities there. So I come in, and not the founder, not nothing, dog. I come in as a sales guy. Right? And everybody keep up with the story, because a lot of people question, how did the operation grow, and how did we get where we're at? How did I end up in the position? And it's all about, once again, those trust, loyalty, so on and so forth. Shai had told me in the beginning that if I weren't to this, that a piece of it would be mine.
Right.
Right. So it's exactly what I do. I go in, I get to work, talk about humility factor. I'm knocking doors, dog.
Yeah.
Knocking doors. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm out here knocking doors. Oh, let me tell you, the car's wrecked. I just got rid of my truck.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm knocking doors in Shonda the Honda with a collapsible ladder.
Right.
So like this luxury of shit, like everything, bro. It's crazy, because people miss the kind of that timeline where like I went through the fucking trenches, bro. Because I kind of wrote that out. I was successful for my fucking age, but to a guy that was older, it was like, bro, that's baby money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then I had that humility factor. Now, like, I don't got it like that, right? I'm separated from my significant other. She's at the crib with the kids, so I'm at another spot. It's not even my crib, right? I'm driving a car that's not mine, that's not my style, to say the
Right.
least.
On top of that.
Right? So there's humility factor, bro. And now I'm like this blue collar dude that's going in. At that time, I seen it as such a negative thing, but I had lost my military ways. I had lost that discipline and that partying scene. That just sucked every single discipline aspect that I had in my life, bro. The party scene took it away from me. Took it away, sucked it in. And just like I said, bro, the streets don't have feelings, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the nightlife doesn't either, right? So I'm sure you know people that you've seen the nightlife just completely take
Take them over. Get caught up.
Yeah.
You ain't got a family.
You seen that Johnny Manziel interview? You see that?
Yeah.
So like, it will, bro. It will. So as it's taking stuff away from me, though, I'm still indulging.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing anything to kind of change that. So as I'm working, I'm still doing the partying stuff. And then once again, bro, it goes to party life and everything, those morals and those values of the military and everything that I worked so hard to get. I just didn't have that. So that selfish person ends up coming back, the real selfish one, right? And I go up and I have, lunch with Shai, and I'm like, hey, bro, like, I'm excited now. Like, I'm out in Clarksville. I know people out there. We need to open up another location out there. And he's like, nah, bro, we gotta get Nashville rolling the way it's supposed to be rolling. Right where it's at. I'm like, well, I'm helping that market, bro. bro. Like, I'm selling a lot out there. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He's like, I get it, bro. You gotta be patient. I'm like, well, I start counting pockets.
Yeah.
I start, breaking down what motherfuckers are making, right? Versus me, a guy that doesn't, owns equity in the company, right? And that's just something that I advise everybody to not to do it. That's the worst. That's the worst trait that you can have, right? And I wasn't necessarily doing that. I just wanted to prove a point of kind of what my worth was why I was doing it, right? Not because I was even pocket watching, not because the money was bad, but I was crushing it.
Yeah.
Talking $15,000 fucking commission check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Everybody that's not in the fucking roofing industry, you're not in it, fucking up.
They gonna find out now.
I'm telling you, you guys, you can do your research and go find out. We got fucking roofers in our company that make more than doctors. So, that being said, I tell them like, all right, bro, I'm just letting you know that I'm the son of. And that look in his face, bro. And him and I, it's crazy because him and I haven't ever really talked about this. Like on the one-on-one, I heard how bad it hurt. Right. Like, dog, like that's my brother. Bro. Like me and Shai, there's no one closer in my life than Shai. And likewise, we'll legit kill for each other. So he's like, oh, bro, just hold on. And we still, instead of reacting, Shai's like, bro, we'll get there. Right.
That's the love he got for you.
He does.
That reaction.
Yeah, that common ground. Right. And me, bro, I'm seeing red.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing like, you don't got faith in me. You don't got, but that's that chip on my shoulder. That's that shit that everybody, whether it was me not ever being the football player I was going to be or the athlete and proving everybody wrong, it was always, I was outworking somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the most athletically fucking blessed, but I made that shit. And then the genes kicked in and it catapulted me. So I've always had that mentality and I just couldn't take no for an answer, bro.
Yeah.
So I did. The best opportunity, bro.
Yeah.
To grow something with your homie, to do something. That's like running off on the plug.
That's really though. Yeah.
Right? It's really what I did. I ran off on the fucking plug, being a dude that claims to be the street dude and knows the street values, dog. And I did the number one thing that everybody tells you not to do. Right? So here I am, bro, shooting myself in the fucking foot. At the time, I'm thinking I'm making the best decision of my life.
Right.
And then I do this and I go into my venture and I had dissected a lot of the stuff that we were doing within the operation of the company, but I realized, brother, that was a one-man show.
Right.
We talked about this earlier, remember?
Yeah.
About being a one-man show and how far that fucking gets you in life. It doesn't get you fucking anywhere. Name me one successful person who's not a strong team.
You gotta have a point.
You won't find it.
It's like being a cook. Who will cut the onion?
Yeah, exactly. So I start realizing as we're selling roofs, we sub everything out or whatever. So we're sales company. We're selling these roofs and I'm starting to get a guy or two, right? And I have some labor issues. I got some quality control issues. Then I have to make this adjuster appointment. I have to go climb this roof. I'm a one-man show, bro.
Right.
So then I start going and I realize, my selfish ass realizes this is gonna take another 2 years for me to even get it where I want it and operate. When Shai has already done the ground. Right. The company has already been started. It's got a branding to it. Right. It's got big expectations. So, yeah. So once again, bro, I have that. I'm a big guy, bro. I talk to myself all the time. All the time. I legit will. I just talk to myself. All the fucking time. People claim therapists, bro. What? There's shit that you're not gonna tell your therapist, but you can tell yourself.
You tell yourself, right?
You know your darkest secrets.
All of
you know your darkest secrets.
All of
So I go and I do, bro. I talk to myself and I'm like, fuck, bro. I'm a bitch, but I'm gonna do it. I need to go back and talk to Shai. Right. And at the time, I'm thinking I'm a bitch, and I'm thinking like, how the fuck am I doing, bro? I need to stick by my shit.
Right.
And but I go back because I realized that even if I did, it wasn't that I couldn't grow it. It wasn't that I couldn't get there, bro. It's who was I gonna do it with? And the reason that I got into this industry, into the roofing shit, wasn't even the roofs, bro. It was first shot.
Right, friendship. Yeah.
It was friendship, bro. It was brotherhood. It was dog. Imagine doing this shit every single day with my boy.
Right.
every single day. The real fucking dream, right? The real dream of doing this shit. Now I'm just by myself, bro. I like retake over what I do this shit. I grow it. I make money by myself, and what?
That ain't fun.
It's not fun no more, bro. That's what it became. Dude, I was miserable,
Right.
miserable, bro. So I come back and we go out to lunch again. And I tell him, I'm like, good, bro. This is what I did out there. This is the market that's out there, bro. There's a market out there. I need you to believe in that. And
Which is real, though. Even though you always talk about Clarksville.
yeah.
You're going out there and did that. And then granted, you're being humble and coming back, but it still is a market out there, Shai, you see.
Yeah.
And then okay.
So he doesn't disregard it at all, right? And probably what steers into the rest of the story, if I don't come with those results, the partnership probably doesn't happen. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't see that there was work ethic put in, because let's remember that he had started this shit, so he knew the groundwork that it took. So for me to even be at that point, acknowledge that, real, recognize it's real,
Not real,
right? This shit ain't fucking easy. This motherfucker went out. I set up a distribution account, right? I set up my QuickBooks. I said everything, bro. And I'm doing this at 23, 24. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing this, I'm doing the businessman shit at that age, already figuring it out, bro. I'm on fucking YouTube, I'm on fucking Google, right? I got my fucking EIN number, I got my LLC, so like I did everything. Right? And all of that shit. How did I know how to do any of that, bro? I did it.
Well, he seen you was on fire.
But and then at that point, what do you look at it like? He's my homie, but Shai is also a very smart, calculated guy, right? And we'll talk about this all day, right? We'll always go back and forth because we're the yin for the yang, right? That's how it is. When he's off, I'm on. When I'm on, he's fucking off, right? Like there's no need for both of us to be on at the same fucking time,
Right?
You know, it's a good balance. So it was. I think that at that point for him too, it was a good business decision, right? You have this highly motivated guy that you have influence on because you've already got him to be with you, one time. It's just with Shai was how do I steer the influence, right? What do I get for this guy to really get motivated? And I'll give it to him today because I've learned a lot from him, right? And vice versa. But that's one thing, bro, is reading that and setting that expectation or that roadmap for somebody, and he did just that. And he did it such on the fly that he didn't know the conversation was going to happen, but he said it that day, bro, and he kept his word on it. He goes, I'm going to give you what you're asking for. But you already know what you're doing.
Right.
I can see it. He goes, I haven't even given my own blood part of this fucking company. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't given anybody the opportunity that I'm giving you. But I love you so much, and I know that you're going to do exactly that. So consider yourself a partner in this company. But you're going to go do that shit by yourself.
Right.
You're not going to call fucking John. You're not going to call all these resources that I had, that I was already ready to use. You can't use none of it. So I had to keep doing exactly what I was doing pre-conversation.
Right. just on the
You talk about some reverse psychology. I'm like, this conversation is going good. It's going good. We're going somewhere.
Right.
Nah, bro, you're gonna keep doing the same shit that you're doing. Right. And you're bringing me into partnership. Right. So I'm like, fuck. I like look at it, but bro, I'm like so happy at this point, like just to see his reaction and his words exactly, bro. Till the day I won't forget him. He goes, welcome back home, baby. Right. And it was, brother, and that's exactly how I felt. Because right when I came back in, bro, that joy and me coming back to life was a thing again, right? I'm motivated to get it. So I'll tell you, so now at this point we got Memphis, we got Nashville, right? Here comes Little Parks, right? And think about it, I mean, we're 17 locations and growing. We'll be at 20, 25 plus by the end of the year. But at this point, this is a baby operation.
Right.
Like you look at Southern now, and you look at it, and it's so crazy because you think all these big people, right? Whether it's Pinnacle, you see all these big ass brand buildings everywhere, right? Like all these banks and Targets, but all those people went through this grooming process that we went through. And that's what I figured out during this whole process, right?
Right.
Where we'll get at, once again, at the end of this is the grind to understand what it's really like to build a business. Dog, I didn't get an office. I'm thinking I'm gonna get an office, everything.
All that, yeah.
So Clarksville, Tennessee, Southern Roofing and Renovations. The facts. Started out of my garage. At 1229 Morstead. Right? So imagine this. So you got a 2-location company, right? You're working on a third, but at this point, Nashville is still getting up, right? They're still trying to hit metrics, right? They're still trying to staff and do all this stuff. And Memphis is doing this thing out there.
Right.
But we're still trying to expand. Like that's not the goal. And Shai's still like gas, bro.
Right.
He's going.
Let's go.
And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in the garage, dog.
Right.
So imagine that. So at this point, there's nobody to call for staff. There's nobody. Once again, resources got pulled from me.
Right.
Because nobody could find out. Because I'll go back to why people couldn't find out. And he did, bro. He gave me ownership before his own blood. I was, one of the majority holders to come in at that point. He didn't nobody else. Right? Nobody else. So that was the secret. So think about it when you're working your dick off, the risk that it can cause. Right? But at that point, the people weren't seeing what Shai was seeing, the metrics and the future of the company.
Right.
And everybody will look at it now and be like, God damn, Shai did the best fucking goddamn thing that he could have. But once again, until you're in that seat, I tell everybody, until you're in that seat,
Right.
for somebody making an executive decision, until you're in that hot chair, you don't know what decision. You don't know if it's going to be the right one or the wrong one. Anyways, he makes that decision, and I'm hosting meetings. I'm trying to go to bars. I'm trying to tell my boys, like, I'm starting a roofing company.
Yeah.
And at this point, people kind of know I'm doing the roofing thing because I started JRB Roofing, right? So
Okay.
I go, and I pull one of the guys that was working with me before, but like, he's up and down, you know what I'm saying? And it just continues that way where it's up and down. I'm like, how in the fuck am I going to do this? Dog, how do you expect me to recruit you?
Right.
Talking about, I'm come have a meeting at 9 a.m. in my garage.
He's like, what? Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly how she seen the vision fit.
Yeah.
I told her straight up, look, I ain't never done this before. She ain't never done a podcast. You just trust what I'm seeing. So that's crazy, man. I can imagine being in a garage and you got a Tesla, look, man, just come work for me. They're like,
Yeah. And it's not only that. Like, you got this tattooed
okay, yeah.
that, like, this demographic, and dog, I'm 24.
Right.
I'm 24 years old, bro. So not only do I got the garage working against me, you got this dude, like,
Yeah.
how experienced even are you? You're 24 years old, dog.
Right.
And you're telling us you were in the military before. How do you know? How is this dude gonna teach us? But I was so embedded in for that I did know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it took a special group of guys, bro, that believed in the vision. And our vision was, you come into this company and you can walk away with something. That goes back to what? The military model. And I told everybody that doesn't know what to do with the military.
Right.
One thing I snatched out the book. Because how is it that the military, people know it's a shitty lifestyle. People know the fucking pay shitty, but it's secure.
Right.
It's got life insurance.
Right.
It's got benefits.
Right.
It's got a future when you get out. That's what people don't understand.
I think that part, and then especially guys I grew up with, structure part too.
Yeah.
Guys like this and have structure. Their father figure they didn't have one, and the military kind of became that for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some guys, man, they jarheads now, but at the time it was like the most criminal mindset.
Oh yeah, bro.
I see them now, they got the low cut. I'm like, what? Like it's crazy. They're like 15 years in now.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
Yeah, no, even now though, bro, you'll go. I mean, you'll see it in Fort Campbell, where you'll see a dude, and you won't ever expect he's an E7. He's some first sergeant or whatever, bro. He looks like a street dude. You know what I'm saying? And that's the craziest thing, because what we know, and a lot of people that will watch this at our military, you have what's the old army and the new one.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean, but yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the old army and the new army. That's what the old army was.
Right.
Fucking rugged motherfuckers with no other opportunity but to do it, bro. But I'm telling you right now, the hoodest motherfuckers and the dudes from the streets are the guys that were always my best leaders.
Yeah.
Every single one, every single dude, you know what I'm saying, that I had, like, dude, Sergeant Fontaine, straight out of fucking Oakland, bro. Like, I'm talking to the max, bro. He went in, they let him in with like a neck tattoo, some hand tattoos, because he went in like during I rap.
I got
You know what I'm saying? So there's guys that like legit were legit criminals that they grandfathered in during war, and those guys came out to be the best leaders, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they know how to act in uniform, but catch them out of that uniform, it's gonna be a whole different fucking story, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I've never been scared of people. Now I'll throw down with the best of them, bro. Everybody that knows me knows that. But bro, I had a NCO, bro, who legit, I mean, swole,
Yeah.
bro. And legit, bro, he took his shit, I ripped his rank, I ran him off. And he goes, let's go, motherfucker, close the fucking door. And I'm looking, I'm like, I ain't closing the fucking door, dog.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah, you know, it's not happening, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's a big thing to it, bro. It's like, yeah.
That's cool, man. So, wow, man. So you operation is out of the garage.
Yep.
But it's booming.
Yeah. So at this point, like, I've come back to the distributors and saying like, hey, you know, I'm a Southern, this and that. And I find my first, you know, hot dude. He's motivated. But we'll get back to the vision, right? You know, creating the vision, that was my biggest thing. So I'm trying to create this, and don't let it be, you know, screwed up. Like, I'm talking to Shai, you know, about certain situations. Like, hey, bro, this shit ain't working out here. All right, we'll try this. But unless you're there, bro, and you know that market, and you know what that community needs.
Yeah.
And that was the thing about it, that I could sell in Clarkston or Nashville or these other markets, but Clarkston was different, right? So trying to build this vision, I realized, bro, we're in a military town. Why am I not using this to my advantage? So that's the first thing that I do. I start reaching out to guys who are getting out the Army. I get a couple bets, a big, and they kickstart it.
A lot of them want to do hands-on stuff anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're already doing
Right.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got grunts, you got, you know, infantry guys that they're used to being out in the field 2-3 weeks a month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't nothing to them.
Right.
You tell them, like, you do this, you can make a couple grand a house,
Right.
and the whole light bulbs really start, you know, going off. So I start this, and you know, there's certain metrics that have to get hit, certain money that has to get put in accounts. So I'm just grinding away. You know, I'm the lead of the sales. Obviously, I'm leading from the front at this point, and just trying to teach these dudes and let them know, like, there is money in this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, bro, meeting after meeting after meeting, and about, I think, 8 months into it, I started looking for money to start looking for an office. And at this point, Curtis is like getting out of jail.
Okay. Guys getting out.
Oh, so he's getting out. Some pieces are starting to, you know, get together. My divorce stuff is kind of trickling off at this point, right? Like, wow, I'm just starting to see light at the end of the tunnel with the divorce. Like, I'm kind of fucking hyper focused on this right now. So it's the relationships no longer a distraction, and I'm able to get my guys, and then my other dudes coming out, and at this point, he needs a job as a part of his release, right, for his early release shit. So he goes, and obviously, you know, I take him in. Like, if I have a fucking articulate guy to come down here and help me run this operation. So we start getting the office together, and then he kind of, you know, meshes through, and we end up finishing that first year over 2.1 million. 2.1 million, bro. And then after that, bro, the rest is history. And you go in and you repeat that operation. But at this point, what made that so strong was that there was nothing at that point that could stop me. Because at this point, in those 8 to 10 months in, then I'm able to get all those resources again. Right? Shai announces I'm a partner in the company. Everybody's happy. They see the work that's went behind the operations, right? So everybody's ecstatic. So now I'm at an ownership position, big, you know, equity aspect of the company, and I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go, and you can't tell me shit, because now I have a resource to be like, now I'm gonna go shop office. Now I have this compliance department to help me out. This, bitch, I started this shit out of my garage.
Yeah, yeah.
There ain't no way I can do this shit again.
Right.
And you give me every single resource, and that's exactly what happened, bro. I go, next year, that office almost triples in revenue. Right. And then after that, we go Bowling Green, we go to Louisville, right?
Bowling Green can kind of piggyback off the car there.
Yeah, to Clarkson. So
yeah,
that's what. So that's if you go and you see our road, our maps. That's how it is. Everything is between an hour and a half to 2 hours operating all across the South.
Right.
Right. So we go there, and from there goes Jonesboro, Little Rock, or they were already established, right? Pre-Clarksville. So you got that, and you got Springfield, Missouri, and then after that, like I said, it's just a reaction, and every location gets easier because of the processes that we've created as a team, that me and my business partners created, bro. And then next thing you know, we start replicating what we're doing, and we start telling people like, hey, bro, you do this shit, you're gonna end up a partner in this company.
Right.
So you go, you end up.
That's motivation for them.
Check this. That's where it goes. So we really pull out that military map, and this is for all the guys that are always saying, how'd you get where you're at, or how do you grow a company? And it all starts with that, with Candace following you and doing all this shit, like your vision. Our vision was, you come in, we don't give a fuck what you did. You're gonna fucking, at this point, right? We didn't care. You sold drugs, if you did this, if you did, at that point, right?
At that point, right.
We're not at that point anymore, right? Drug screens and background checks.
Right.
But at that point, we did it because we knew that we were a group of misfit guys, right? That worked well together. That we could get more fucking misfit guys. We could crush the fucking world together.
Yeah.
Right. And we were breaking that dynamic, bro. You never walk in the fucking room and would expect. You walk in right now, you dress two guys in the suit, and you see me and Shai walk into the room. You're gonna think the guys in the suit, bro. You just see us, bro. We just don't look the part. And I love every fucking second of it, bro.
Yeah.
Love every fucking second of it. Yeah. So we create that vision, bro. We start telling guys, all right, you come in as a sales guy, and this kind of, I start becoming a monument to the sales guys. Almost like a praise, because I started where they started.
Right.
And we literally give it, and this is Shai's doing, is the business model of creating the future roadmap of owning a part of this. Right. So when you say Junior came in and he started this, and he started as a sales guy, he started out his fucking garage, and he's grown every location, why can't you do it?
Right. I mean, you scaled it quickly.
Quick.
Yeah.
Right? And everything within Southern or at that time it was different entities, different partners.
Right.
So every time that a new location happens, guess what? There's a new partner going to that market. A new multi-millionaire getting made. So then you start going and you start telling these guys, you're going to come in as a sales guy. You go in, you make team lead. You go to general sales manager, and then after that, we get together as the board and we determine who the next owner of the company is. So imagine, and I say this to everybody that says, if I had $5 million fucking dollars, right? Everybody says, if I had $1 million, if I had $2 million,
right,
bro, I would give somebody $10 million fucking dollars right now. Right now. And they couldn't replicate what we're replicating. Right? And the reason for that, it's because it's not the money, but the people that created that fucking vision, bro.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the people. So for every person that says, hey, what if I had $1 million, I'd be able to scale my company. How are you going to scale that company? And for us, it was, we're telling you you're going to be a fucking millionaire.
You got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work. So imagine that, bro. And it's so funny because everybody says, if I had the chance to do this or do this, bro, you know how many hundreds of people we've given this chance? Every person that's walked through Southern, we've given the opportunity to become a multi-millionaire. But they're not willing to put in the work. Those guys that have became multi-millionaires know the work and the sacrifice they really takes to get there, bro.
Right.
But every single guy within this company, this is a crazy dynamic about it, that there's guys within the company right now that were here before me. So why do I say here?
Right. Work ethic.
Exactly,
Okay, yeah.
right, but once again, just like you said earlier, there's chiefs, right, and then the Indians, right, and sometimes it's okay to not be a chief. I think that's where people get shit misconstrued, brother. Waking up with the stress and the pressure that I do with every single day,
Not for everybody.
it's not for everybody. That's what people, the it must be nice, it's shit, bro. I wish it was nice. I wish that I didn't have to wake up and knowing that my well-being, what I do affects 400 plus employees within the company.
Right.
Right? That if I fuck up or Shai fucks up or, JT, my other business partners, anybody, because I'm gonna make this very clear is that once again, Junior didn't build this, Shai didn't build, like we built this together, right, with a group of guys. Right? And those group of guys will all tell you, bro, that we've all taken L's. We've all lost time with our families. We've all got paid. We've all got not paid to do shit that we're doing, right?
Right.
Bro, I'll put this out here right now. I didn't make money for 18 fucking months, dude. I was pressure washing houses and mowing grass to pay myself while I was paying my employees out of the garage.
Right. I'll tell you this. We in Canada, feel your pain. We haven't, we scaling this.
Yes.
At one point, I had to pick up a little night thing to FedEx just to make sure, okay,
Yeah.
we go out of town, boom, boom. So it's yes.
Yeah.
Not everybody, and everybody will hit you up in DM, man, I want to do me a podcast. Well, you ain't. I know you don't even brush your teeth every day.
Yeah.
So I know you ain't gonna do that. So it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, bro. So that's kind of how that story goes, bro. Is we go and we ensured that we stood by the dream that we sold you. And a dream, being sold a dream, it could be the worst thing or the best thing. Once again, just like the word manipulation. Manipulation is always pretty much thrown in a bad context.
Always, yeah.
But it's not.
Right.
But I've manipulated people to do great things.
Right.
Great things, right? To be better fathers, to be, better employees.
Manipulate myself into a relationship.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So it's like you do it all the time, whether it's a decision,
Mm-hmm.
you have to manipulate yourself or trick yourself into thinking, yes, this is going to be beneficial, even when it's not. Because when you think it's not beneficial, it's when it's going to be beneficial. You miss out on an opportunity. Right.
Hey, I mean, what do you think manipulation? I mean, when I met you the first time at the Lamborghini car, I mean, I waited my time. So I seen the two guys, they already talking to you. And even though my son, he bounced all over the place. I thought I said something to him. I didn't even know that was the car now.
Yeah.
But I said, I want to network with this guy and to see his story.
Yeah. You remember that conversation that we had about the I love you.
Yeah.
The I love you thing. That's crazy. Yeah, we had I don't know if you know, so there's this thing, it fucking creeps people out. It's the funniest shit ever. So I got this shit from just our circle, it originated from Shai. Shai lost somebody close to him, and he never couldn't remember when he told, them that he loved them. So every time you hear me talk to somebody within my circle, or somebody that starts getting close, even Paul gets here. He calls me up, "So you love me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Because love is, once again, it's in this context where you have to be head over heels for somebody, or you have to know them for fucking 10 years, bro. Shai had more impact. JT, my business partner, John, they had more impact in my life in 3 months for the motherfuckers have had in 10 years. Right? I grew love for them faster than I will legit. Two people could be holding a gun right now. People that I've known for 10 years.
Right.
And people that I've known for 2 or 3, bro. I'm like, sorry, now you got to go.
Yeah.
This person brings value to my life.
Right.
You just got to go.
Right.
And I think people get that shit real fucked up, bro. Like they do, bro. It's like choosing that inner circle or who's allowed to be in that inner circle. It's vital.
That's vital. Yeah, cause my inner circle, man. People I might have been cool with 10 years ago can't hold a candle again.
Yeah.
So like,
Exactly.
And I don't even know how long we know you got. What, 7 months?
Yeah.
It's crazy, 7 months.
Yeah. So it just goes that way. So anyways, we'll go in and everybody that I do, you hardly see me, whether it's my sales rep, whether it's general sales manager, whether it's a good friend of mine. It's like, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love you, and it's not even a necessarily like I just love. Like, I love you. I love you as a person. I love you the value you bring to my life. I love you being in my life. That's my thing, bro. And it's like, and when we're at that thing, that there were Middle Eastern guys that were talking to me, and they had asked it because they're not really sentimental with family like that.
Man,
And
really not,
and I told him, I asked him, like, his son was standing there or whatever, and I said, when's the last time you just said I love you? And they're brothers. So when's the last time y'all told each other? They're like, they look at each other, and they don't have an answer. I said, if he dies tomorrow, you'll never be able to say that you say you love him or remember. And like, that's the only thing that we got to hold on to. Is
And
memory.
also, so I would like to say on that, that's also something that Hispanics and Blacks have in common.
Yeah, yeah.
We more on it. Now, I've noticed, I'm glad you said, I know with the Middle Eastern or Indian, they really, they family, but they don't really.
There's roles. All it is, it's a role to.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a role to get the job done, right? It's a role for them to get you to college, to get that in the hardest and the sternest way possible. It is. It's a culture thing.
Right.
It's a culture thing. For sure, bro. For sure.
Man, so that message like you be successful. Now before we end this, man, I want to say, doing your thing. The nightlife comes back, but now you're successful.
Yeah.
Paul, you beat Paul in the real estate.
Yeah. So during this time, obviously I'm doing my thing. So there's a little mix in between that success where I dove back down.
Okay.
So I do after Clarksville's taking off, Bowling Green's getting launched. I start getting back into the nightlife, but just too back into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, too back into it, right? And I'm just not feeling the responsibilities that I'm supposed to be, fulfilling. So I go and I come out of it. It's like a 3-month thing or whatever. And around that time when I'm coming out of it, I start hearing about Paul, right? So I'm seeing him. I've seen him clearing around or whatever. And then I knew a guy named Hamid, right? Another car guy. And to tell you the truth, a bunch of mutual friends that Paul and I knew, but him and I had never interacted on one-on-one. And anybody that knows Paul's he's not just gonna go talk, right? He's almost introvert, right? Almost an introvert, quiet guy. But once you get that motherfucker, you get to know him, bro. One of the fucking funniest dudes that I fucking know. But yeah, so I go in and we meet we're right outside the tin roof. The Lambo, the Lambo, he parks in the McLaren in front of it, and I'm outside or whatever, and I just make the introduction. I go up, what's up, bro?
Right.
Junior's like, blah, blah, blah. We start talking. We just literally hit it off. He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, shit, I'm hungry, bro. Let's go take the whips.
Yeah.
So we go, bro, and I hop in his McLaren actually, and we go out, and that's how that introduction starts, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he already knew, he had talked to Shai. Once again, so many mutual friends. But I guess sometimes, bro, I don't know if it's an ego thing or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna go talk to that dude. He's gonna come talk to me, or I'm gonna. And it's an ego thing because at that point of success, it's kind of what it is, bro. It's. I say it all the time. You start looking for new metrics, right? And sometimes, some when you find those new metrics of friends, right, those other ones fall off, bro, and you're cold hearted. You changed up. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that. It's just I've evolved, and you don't fit that fucking picture right. Like that. Like that's all it is. So I made that transition when I was coming back out. I told myself that I was cutting out a bunch of people in my circle. Right, a huge part of my circle I'm talking like overnight, bro. I mean, whether it's I'm following people, when I changed my number, right, and I decided that I was only going to surround myself around successful people. And Paul was kind of the first person that linked into that. I already had so much success around me, but I didn't have a network, bro. A guy like he does this, he does this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I started building that. And the thing is that I had the resources to build a network, but I never jumped on it. Hey, man, we need to sit down for lunch. So that's when my networking really starts, right? So we'll go back to about a year and a half. right? So I've known Paul for over a year now, but I go in and like I really start putting groups together. Like I said, bridging those networks together.
Right.
And that gets me into all my other investments, whether it's my Porsche or whether it's my logistics, company. Like I just start meeting people. I go on a rally and I get to a shipping container business. Like I start building this real portfolio. And one of the main things that I wanted to get on, and it links up back to football, I want to dive in heavier into real estate. I already have properties, I had Airbnb, right? But I wasn't doing what I seen that Paul or these other guys were doing in real estate, where I can really use leverage and assets and banks and all of this stuff and make a shitload of fucking money.
Right. And now you really use your own money.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So now it's like, all right, cool. So I see that as a moment and an opportunity. So I was clear headed to once again, how bad do you let that nightlife and that partying scene suck you in? Now, when I go out, you won't see me. If I'm going unless it's later in the night, right, you won't see me drinking through the day. Right now, you're going to see me start consuming after 11 o'clock, 12, after people can't have conversations. I swear to God, I said it like I don't. I do it that way because you don't know who you're going to come across.
Man.
And Paul was one of those guys that finally I seen it. I was clear headed enough. I was like, oh shit, I just came up on this. I need to start making something work. And it did. It took a while to be able to build that relationship. But now here we find ourselves, and he's one of my best friends now.
Yeah.
We're going out. We're going to the Virgin Islands for his birthday.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we'll be doing a boys trip out there. We'll be shooting some content and stuff over there. But I go in and like I said, after that lunch, just like the Shai and the rest of the story that you've heard, bro, it was literally a click, and it hasn't stopped. After that, it's like, hey, bro, the windows for my house. Hey, Paul, I need, bro, motherfucker had it like that. Like I need these custom windows done. He gave it to me up with Pella, and they do this stuff, and it's just like those selfless actions. Paul doesn't get shit from it.
Yeah.
So I told him in return. I told him, and I know that he'll be watching this. I told Paul personally that if it's my last thing that I fucking do, bro, is I'm gonna help you scale your business. There's people that hit me up, bro. It's 50 grand a month, like for consulting. I know how to build a fucking business. Everybody could tell you that this business is different. This is bull fucking shit. I've seen this shit at the highest fucking level with fucking New York money coming in, acquiring different companies and their metric and what they're looking for. I know what the fuck it takes. And that's something, bro, that money can't buy. Nothing, not even experience. You could be 10 years in the industry until you have those big wigs coming through you and they want to acquire something. That's because you're special.
Right.
That means you built something. That means you built culture, like I told you.
Right.
Everybody asks that shit. And I'm going to say that to everybody. Everybody, what's culture? What's culture to you? Yeah. What's culture to you?
Culture to me is when the group, how can I say this? Culture to me is like a mindset thing.
Yeah.
So if everybody in the culture or in the group has the exact same mindset or probably the same road and the same range, then it's almost in a sense of culture.
Culture. It brings it together. That's exactly. So the definition of culture, like I said, Scott Mullins, preached that, right? He's a CEO of our portfolio now for the merger. And he said just that. Right? That was one of our questions. My questions was, why us? But think about it. Think about that. You're sitting in front of these guys that are about to change the lives for you and everybody within the company. Because this means this happens, bro. This merger was not for us.
Right.
It was to ensure that our guys will forever have a career, a path. This company was never going to die down. We became the number one residential moving company off this merger. The number one.
Overnight.
From a rock star, a fucking dude from the streets, right? My other partners from the streets of Memphis, like, it's the same shit. Just a group of misfit guys that just didn't take no for you.
Thank you, man. Look, this interview is gonna change my life. I'm glad we had time to sit down and do this, man. I get to tell your story. this inspirational.
not have
Big
fun.
time.
For sure, man. I appreciate you guys, you know, coming along and just getting a little snippet. I'm not a big talker. I think I said at one point I don't think I'd ever do a podcast, right? So for sure. But once again, bro, it's that wealth of knowledge, right? And I'll leave it off at this, that you know, you won't ever be in life. You won't ever be successful until you make somebody else successful.
Correct.
That's the number one. That's the number one thing. So everybody that questions business or this and that is, what's your legacy gonna be?
Right.
Doing shit.
Right.
You know, and my legacy is gonna be, people could talk a lot of shit about me. People will see this podcast and say shit. But I'll tell you what, they can't take away being a father from me, right? They can't take God away from me, right? And they can't take away that I've changed hundreds of fucking lives. Hundreds. And that right there, bro, I go to sleep every fucking night knowing that I have a purpose to wake up to every single day, for that people confide in me, bro. And that right there is the best thing. The cars, the jewelry, all this shit, bro, that shit doesn't do nothing for me anymore, right? But getting the motherfucker out from underneath, you know, at rock bottom, that right there, that's what money can buy. So
Hey.
I appreciate you guys fucking having me out, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? We have you again too, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, we'll do that. Like I said, I think we got a set with do one with Paul,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to give in too much to our relationship,
No,
right? You know, but we got some stories, bro. You know, we went to Super Bowl together.
Oh yeah.
We got to
Man.
clip that.
We clipped that.
We'll clip
Man.
that, because our Super Bowl shit was,
Wow.
it was wild, right? So there's stuff, I didn't want to get too much into that, but yeah, man, Paul, I know I could get fucking Shai's ass on here.
Oh yeah.
So,
Shai,
so
you hear that, Shai? You know, you been talking back and forth with him. You know, I've been to his crib, man. Like
Yeah.
before he even moved in it.
yeah.
He's a friend of mine who was actually building it. Crazy, man.
Yeah. So no, I'll get him on here. We'll do something. We've already been talking. Obviously, I brought this meeting up, so we will for sure be on a one-on-one. I know it's going to be on this one first. I'll give you that respect, but there's going to be another one that we'll probably commit to. But for sure, bro, we'll do that. Even on topics of discussion, bro.
What's good?
You know, whether it's politics, I'll talk it all.
Anything.
Yeah.
Hey, you always welcome to come on here, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Stay tuned.